You are a woman that is committed to building your financial success in order to live abundantly. And I know that because you're here with me attempting to learn something new. And I know finances can seem so overwhelming, but I am here to demystify this process for you and give you the tips and strategies that you need in order to build wealth and live abundantly. Hi, my name is Yolanda, and I am an independent wealth advisor, and I'm also the director of Solomon Wealth Management, the creator of the financial education platform Financially Fabulous Females, the host of the podcast, the Wealth Nation podcast, and I am also the founder of the private wealth education club, Wealth Insiders. Now, it is my goal in the next 20 minutes or so to give you easy, actionable tips, content, and strategies that you can use to manage your money well, to live abundantly, and to build generational wealth. I also happen to be an avid gift giver. So if you stay with me for this session, a very short session, I have a free gift for you, and I will tell you about that a little later on. So today I hope to give you a framework of financial success. What do you need to know? What do you need to wrap your head around to try and get this financial thing sorted and to make it work for you? I'm also going to give you a couple of strategies that you can use to start budgeting and start saving. And I also hope to inspire you to diligently seek financial knowledge. Building wealth is not just about making money. It's about keeping money and using that money efficiently. And if you're an individual that wants to improve their standard of living, minimize the possibility of financial ruin, invest optimally, and accumulate wealth over time, then you need to be constantly learning, constantly trying to understand the financial system in which you exist. Let's take a look at the financial success framework that I've come up with. Now, this is not some big academic thing, It's just something that I use to help me understand finances, what I need to know to better serve my clients. And I hope to give you a picture of where things fit, on the things that you're doing, where it fits, and what's missing in your financial plan and in your financial journey that you need to incorporate into your life to start living in abundance. Okay, so this is my framework for financial success. And it's three little words that we got to remember, which is building, keeping, and passing wealth. And by building wealth, firstly, we're looking for cash flow, something that gives us cash flow. For example, our jobs, our businesses, those all provide cash flow. And basically, if we're working, we have a thing called active income, where we're showing up at our job, we're doing the whole 9 to 5, and at the end of the month, we're getting salary. So we are trading time for rands there. So if we don't have time to trade for rands, we can't get this active income. All right. So once we've established a source of active income, all right, now we have our cash flow. And with that cash flow, we got to start budgeting and saving. And we're going to take a deep dive into budgeting and saving in a little while. But if you're really savvy, you're going to use as much as you can, use that cash flow to allocate it into investing for passive income. Because passive income is income that you gain without trading time for rands. It's your money working for you. So your money is making money, is making money, is making money. And you can read these notes in your own time, but you catch the drift, right? So this is your wealth building stage. Active income and converting active income to passive income. And the long-term game here is if eventually, if your passive income can match up to your active income, why do you need your job? Okay, that's the ultimate goal. That's the dream we all want to reach, where we have this passive income. We don't have to trade our time for rands. And I think that's one of the things I remind my kids all the time is that we talk about career options and trading time for rands. And I always tell them, leverage technology, right, where you're not trading time for rands. Okay, so that's the wealth building phase. Active income, passive income, and just mastering those skills of investing, budgeting, saving to help you build wealth. So we've established a source of wealth, whether it's great or small, whatever the case is, we need to keep that wealth and protect that wealth. And some of the components of wealth protection is firstly, you're shielding from taxes. All right. We pay an awful amount of taxes in the country.
We got to be very tax efficient. We got to be very aware of our tax exemptions, the rebates, the deductions, the exclusions, the juristic entities that we can use to shield from taxes. Okay, and a thing that is often overlooked is inflation. Inflation is the silent tax. It's like a little worm in your wallet or in your purse that's just eating up all those notes. That's literally what inflation does. So when you have funds sitting in a bank account giving you lower amounts of interest, and for example, let's say 3% interest, and inflation is at 5%, that little inflationary worm is eating 2% of your money every year. Okay, so it's very important to be investing at a rate higher than inflation. Then we also want to protect our source of income and protect our ability to earn an income. So if you're a business owner, we got to protect the business, protect the assets in the business that are generating an income. If you're in machinery, you have this key piece of machinery that's manufacturing something, and if this machine is down, you have no cash flow. So we got to ensure that. If you're in a service related business, you're gonna ensure the people that are providing those key services, because if they are no longer around, you want to be able to hire somebody to replace them. Okay, and if you're an employee, and I know many of us are in this position, is we want to protect our ability to earn an income. Now, the only time you won't be able to work is if you're sick, or if you physically can't, you're disabled, and you can no longer work in your profession. You got to work to do anything to basically get cash flow. But if you protect your ability to earn an income, you don't have to stress so much about your cash flow. Okay, this is why we have things like life insurance, and especially for parents, it's our duty to get to our kids at least to 18, at least to get them a matric. So if we pass prematurely, they need to have the funds available to complete their education and not worry about funds, school fees, and those kind of things. So this is why a product like life insurance is so important. Okay, that's a form of wealth protection, because you're protecting your salary if you're not around to earn that salary for your family. Okay, but money you can enjoy in your lifetime is things like to protect against disease and to protect against disability. All right, because if your body can't function that way, the bills don't stop and you still need cash flow. You might exhaust your sick leave at work, you exhaust your medical aid. What are you going to do? Okay, so that is the reason why we're protecting our sources of income and our ability to earn an income. All right, so we've built some wealth with our cash flow processes. We're budgeting, we're saving, we're investing. We've established a small source of passive income that will slowly snowball over time. We've understood the various aspects of protecting our wealth in terms of shielding from taxes, growing at a rate faster than inflation, and ensuring our sources of income. So eventually over time, okay, we tighten things up as our net worth grows. And when we pass, we can't take all of this with us. We got to leave it to our heirs or to any organization. You can leave your assets to charitable organizations if you like. And that's basically passing on your wealth. Or if you're leaving it to family, you're building generational wealth. So we're looking for tax efficient solutions. And by the way, you can't die for free in South Africa. No. You've got to pay the death taxes. And if you don't plan for that, it's an awful thing. There's a range of death taxes, and we talk about it in our estate planning masterclass. The range of taxes that you've got to pay upon your death to ensure that your assets pass on to your family. It's horrendous. And a lot of people don't understand it. So we have to prepare for our passing, understand what taxes are due, because if our families cannot pay those debt taxes, our assets will be seized. SARS will take them, sell them off at whatever they need to sell it in order for them to recoup their taxes. And obviously, when it comes to estate planning, you're winding off your estate, the attorneys involved, And when an attorney is involved, it can get very expensive. So we want to plan for this before it actually happens, instead of leaving our families with this burden, because it's an awful thing for them to go through. And unfortunately, once it's done or once you pass, nobody can help you. You're stuck in the process, right? So plan for it in advance. So just to summarize about the financial success framework, firstly, it's building wealth, active income and passive income, and understanding the processes of effectively using your active income to build passive income. So we got to master the budgeting and the saving process. We want to, once we set up our investments, our passive income, and these assets that generate us an income, we want to preserve that. We want to protect it. We want to keep that cash flow. We want to keep that appreciation. We want to be tax efficient. We got to understand the role of inflation in our wealth building and in our strategies. And we got to protect our wealth and protect our sources of income. Then we want to prepare for passing this wealth over to our families. We got to prepare for the death taxes and obviously passing everything over in the most efficient, tax efficient manner. So here's a summary once again. You can't get to keeping wealth if you don't have any wealth to keep, and you can't go to passing wealth if you don't have any wealth to pass. So a lot of folks are stuck here, especially unemployment is so high in our country. So a lot of folks are in this place, struggling for cash flow. Obviously, education is not the best in South Africa, so people don't know how to adequately save, how to budget adequately, and we'll talk about this right now. We'll go and we'll really break down the budgeting process and try to implement this if you're not doing it already.
So the first tool we're going to talk about today is budgeting, and from that framework you can see where budgeting fits. It's in that initial stage. So it's something very basic, very foundational about your financial journey. And I know the word budget, it can bring so much of fear. It's so scary, it's so tedious, it's so time consuming, the numbers are overwhelming, but it's a very important process. And if you are earning money, if you're handling money, if you are paying bills, and if you want to build wealth, you got to master this process. And once you get a hang of it, it's nothing hard. It's nothing difficult. You look forward to it eventually. And a budget is not the static document where maybe you'll sit with it at the beginning of the year and you'll plan yourself out for the beginning of the year and then you forget about it and you go wayward with handling your finances. No. A budget is a serious thing. I mean, our country has a budget. The national departments have a budget. The provincial governments have a budget. The municipalities have a budget. Big corporates have a budget. NGOs have a budget. Small businesses have a budget. So everybody's using a budget, and we need to apply this on a much smaller scale to our households and our personal finances as well. So I encourage you to start using a budget. And like I said, it's not the static thing that you develop once off. It's something that you're going to continuously go back to. Are you on track? Have I reached my target? Am I spending in the right places? Am I focused on once too much and I don't have enough for my needs? Do I need to realign something? And those are the kind of questions that a budget will pose to you over time with that tracking that you've put in place with your finances. So, a budget is not about depriving you where you can't have the certain luxury item. A budget is something that's going to help you plan to purchase that. Okay, instead of you going and splurging, spending your bonus, swiping that credit card, if you want to purchase something that you enjoy, something that you love, something that you're looking forward to, plan for it. Put away funds every couple of months to try and purchase this. When if you want to buy a big screen TV, right? You're not going to go out and buy the big screen TV. You want to be saving for it. You don't want to be swiping the credit card. You want to save for it, wait for Black Friday, and go ahead and buy that TV. So it's not about depriving you of all the nice things on life. What we're trying to do is encouraging you to utilize the budgeting tool to plan for those big purchases and use your money more efficiently, because your money should be working for you, right? It's about money, making money, not you working for money in terms of active income. So there's many budgeting strategies that you can use, and let's take a look at that.
So the first strategy that you can deploy is the 50-30-20 strategy. So it's a pretty straightforward method and requires a lot less work than other types of strategies. So the idea here is to break down your expenses into 3 categories, where 50% is going towards your necessary expenses, your needs, 30% into discretionary expenses, your wants, and 20% into saving or debt payments if you're just getting started out. So this budgeting method is a great option for newbie budgeters because it doesn't require that meticulous tracking of your various expenses. And you can succeed at this budget as long as you know what counts as a want or need, and you put enough money towards savings or debt. I think one of the biggest drawbacks of this is it might be unrealistic for people who have a lot of debt or have big savings goals, because 20% is not a big allocation to go towards servicing debt if it's quite a huge amount other than your home loan. But the good news is you can customize this to fit your needs. For example, maybe you want to consider increasing the savings and the debt repayments category and decreasing the discretionary or the necessary expensive category. Okay, so if you feel that this is a strategy that you can use, play around with it. And as you implement it and as your financial situation improves, tighten things up, allocate more towards saving. The next strategy we're looking at is the zero budget strategy. And we saw Finance Minister speak about implementing this strategy at a national level. All right, so the idea here is that the zero-based budgeting method is pretty simple. It's the income minus expenses must equal to 0. Okay, so in that case, every rand is going to be allocated somewhere, whether it's going towards expense, whether it's going towards investments, whether it's going towards savings. So this method is best for people who have a set income each month, or at least a reasonable estimate of their monthly income. And after calculating your monthly income, add up your monthly spending and your savings, and it must be equal to that income amount. So every rand is basically allocated to something. The next strategy you can deploy is the pay yourself first budget. Now, the pay yourself first budget is another simple budgeting method that focuses on savings and debt repayment. Basically, you put aside a specific amount every time you get paid for savings and debt payments, then spend the rest of your money however you see fit. And by doing this, you can prioritize your savings and your debt repayment goals and make do with whatever you left over. For example, let's say you want to pay off some high interest consumer debt while slowly building up an emergency fund. But as you get rid of your high interest debt, you focus on other savings goals. Of course, it's important now for you to prioritize your necessary expenses, but you don't have to watch where you spend your discretionary income because you've already taken care of what's most important to you. So this budget is ideal for somebody who's struggling with saving each month or doesn't want to focus too much on budgeting each expense like a line item. So we've given you three really nice budgeting tools that you can use, a strategy that you can use. And once you have that strategy, you can use a budget tool like this one. So this is a tool that I use with my coaching clients. It's a budgeting tool. And you can see that we take an assessment of the incomes that are coming into the household, and then we go line by line where all of that money is going. And the reason why we go line by line is we want to establish where the money is going. Is it going on wants or needs, or too many wants and not enough on the needs? And from there, we take an analysis. And you can see that we have a column here for projected and actual cost. So if somebody is saying they're going to be spending 1,000 Rand on petrol, but they're actually spending 2,000 Rand on petrol, it's a problem. And now we have to readjust. And we see things like petrol, it increases all the time. Every year, this goes up, and your salary increases are not meeting that. So we got to adjust the budget somewhere along the line to make sure that our needs are being met. And then we're going to cut out some of the extras, most likely entertainment or going out. We want to always be more efficient with our taxes and make some changes there as well if the individual is paying too many taxes. We need to start saving, and saving would be one of the line items in your budget. And specifically, the first thing you want to do always is start with emergency savings. Now, Christmas is not an emergency, birthdays are not an emergency. Emergency is something serious where you need immediate funds to try and relieve a situation. For example, you're in an accident, you need to pay your car access, insurance access, or you have a serious medical issue, medical aid is not taking care of something, and if it's not treated now, it's going to get complicated. That's an emergency. Okay, and typically, we want to look at a 3 to 6 months expenses that we have saved away in a high interest account. And now remember, we got to consider taxes here. And obviously, this is dependent on your other investments and the tax exemptions that you can utilize. We also need to consider inflation, again, with that account. And we spoke about this when we looked at the success framework. And a strategy that I encourage my clients to do. So let's say you have 20,000 Rand worth of expenses every month. So the minimum you're looking at is a 3-month emergency fund. Okay, so what you're going to do here is once you have your 6 months saved up, and since it's so rare that you can find an account that can even match up or so sometimes could never exceed inflation unless you lock it up, and that kind of defeats the purpose of an emergency fund, because an emergency fund you want quick access to. Right, so I encourage my clients that when they have the emergency fund in place, take 50% of that and put it in more advanced structured investments that can give you a return greater than inflation. And then you go back to topping up your emergency savings again. And once you reach your maximum, take 50% out and add it to your more advanced investment. So here we're in a cycle of saving and investing and saving and investing. And it also brings about a level of discipline as well, because you know that your emergency savings are down now and you need to top that up. And another way we can save, where we have our emergency funds, we're looking at sinking funds. Sinking funds are basically funds that we have for these minor events that we have throughout the year. And a great example is Christmas. Now, Christmas is not a surprise. We know when it's going to happen. So why do we come out of December like we just fought in a war, in a financial war? I mean, we know Christmas is coming. We want to be merry and festive, and that comes at a cost. We're eating out more, we're entertaining more, the brides, the parties, Christmas Day itself, it's a costly affair. So we should be preparing for it now. An extra 500,000 Rand into the highest interest account that you could possibly get will help buffer you for Christmas. Okay, so that's an example of a sinking fund. And you would do the same for birthdays or even holidays. Anything that's, I would say, 6 to 18 months that you're looking at spending, you're looking for a specific event to fund, that's where your sinking fund comes into place. All right. So this is not some kind of product. There is a specific investment product that's referred to as sinking funds, but that is something completely different. This is a sinking fund that are you saving for these short-term events and occasions that you have in your life.
There is so much to talk about when it comes to finances and understanding the South African financial system. Where to from here? All right, you got to check out the tons of resources, free resources that we have available for you. So go and check out our website. It's www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com. And we have new fresh master classes very regularly, so check that out. You need to join the 5 investments every South African needs masterclass, how to invest for your kids masterclass, Financial Success Summit. Check out the Wealth Nation podcast, the Financially Fabulous Females YouTube channel, Retirement Bootcamp, the Financial Education for Kids book and course, and also consider becoming a member of our private wealth education club, Wealth Insiders. So I really hope today that I was able to open your eyes a little, to give you more structure on what you need to know about finance, and hopefully I've inspired you to learn more, because there's so much to learn, there's so much to talk about, but we just have a finite amount of time today. But always keep learning, because when you're learning, you're moving forward and you're not stagnant. Neither us nor money needs to be stagnant, because if it's stagnant, it's not growing, and we should always be improving and always be growing. All right, thanks for joining me today. And like I said, if you stayed with me, I'm going to give you this free gift. And the gift I have for you today is complimentary access to our financial success course. Now, this course is exclusively for Wealth Insiders, but just as a thank you for staying with me so long on this program, I want to give you complimentary access to this course. Go to www.financiallyfabulous females.com/Mercury. And I'm going to give you complimentary access to the course, and you can start getting your finances in order.